gained 20 more pounds with this one. It was bad.
Dang.
It's more muscle. The baby wasn't mine. The baby wasn't coming home with us. We, you know, told the kids the baby was for someone else.
But after that, we started to talk about another journey.
Emotionally, I would say that we were invested and very connected to this baby.
We've got another couple that are in the room with us, and this was the first time that we were going to experience that.
Yeah, the intended mother rubbed my back. Dan held my hand.
Didn't you say there was one more question? Did we blow all of the money already?
What is up, guys, and welcome back to our channel. I cannot believe it, but today I am 1 year postpartum.
A whole year.
Is that insane?
That's nuts.
Do I look good for being 1 year postpartum?
You do. I can't get over the fact that it's been a year.
It's been a year since we delivered a baby that was not ours, like for somebody else. That's so crazy. It's been...
And you're doing it again.
That's true. It's been a crazy year. It's flown by, but also it feels like it's been forever, and I can't believe it. Like, whenever I was looking at the calendar, I'm like, it's been 1 year. So I posted something on my Facebook feed and just asked, hey, we're coming up on a year postpartum. Do you guys have any questions? So at the end of this, I'm gonna answer like 5 or 6 questions that you guys had, just like about like being postpartum and the journey itself. But I figured we would walk through a few aspects of our journey in surrogacy and just kind of like recap it a little bit. We'll talk about physically, how was it, how are we doing, mentally, how was it, how are we doing, emotionally, how was it, how are we doing.
Still just thinking about a
Isn't
year
it
ago.
crazy?
It feels like 3 months.
It does, but then again, it feels like 3 years.
See, I don't feel that.
You don't?
No,
oh,
I
I
feel
feel
like
like
it
I'm
feels like-
so like, it's so long ago to me. Well, on that note, physically, I feel great. I guess, how was it during the journey? During the journey was so good. Very comparable to my own pregnancies.
I feel like a little bit more nausea, sickness.
Yes, because of the IVF meds, I did
Yeah.
had morning sickness till about 12 weeks. Plus I had COVID twice during that time, so I was just miserable. And then, not to mention, I had 10 weeks of shots, or 8 weeks of shots in the rear, which is not fun. But other than that, physically, I was great. I was still able to work out. We adventured, carried baby very well. Pregnancy was good.
As
So
far as
altogether,
actual like pregnancy, I guess the side effects of pregnancy, it was almost identical.
I'm a good pregnant person. Physically, how I'm doing now, postpartum, I feel like I'm doing great. I'm about 127, which I delivered at like 158, and then...
You delivered at 158?
Yes.
Did you really?
Yeah, that was the most that I weighed before. It was.
Maybe
Did you think it was more?
138.
No, it was 158. The kids were 138. Both kids were 138. I gained 20 more pounds with this one. It was bad.
Dang.
It's more muscle though.
Setting a new record.
But yeah, I've been able to get back to, I feel like, almost pre-pregnancy weight. Strength is definitely coming back, which is my biggest thing. I could care less about the scale. I mean, I do care about the scale because I know what my body needs to like get ready for another journey or another pregnancy, but I want my strength back. And so I've been working out. All is healed down there.
I think you're just, rocking and rolling now.
Yeah, I'm kicking it. So physically, journey was great, and postpartum were great. So let's talk about mentally. How was surrogacy mentally? So going into it, we've shared this across so many different videos with you guys. We prepared so much mentally. A lot of prayer, but a lot of research into how to prepare for a journey, how to prepare for postpartum. And I have an episode all about postpartum, how it went, how we prepared for it. So you can go watch that. But I feel like we did so great preparing that whenever we delivered, it went really well. Like, one of your guys' questions was, how did it affect the kids? How did they handle it? Transition for them was so great. They were able to meet the baby. They like disconnected really well. Kenyon was never too involved or too like interested in my belly or the baby.
Ember, I think, was quite a bit. And
she would rub my belly, touch it,
it was like
kiss
talking
it.
to the baby, touching and kissing. Excited, a lot of questions. Canyon would have like a passing question here and there, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like because we planned to adventure right after, we were going to get a dog right after, got a new vehicle right after, like
the road in the RV.
There was just a lot of transition stuff that we all had to look forward to, including the kids.
Yeah.
That made that whole process way smoother than what it could have been. You know, like if everybody's fully invested in this journey and then all of a sudden like we're done and there's no baby and we have nothing going on.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing, was planning something post-delivery for us to do as a family and focus. You guys know we hit the road in the RV for 6 months. We adventured, we traveled, we made memories, and that I feel like was my saving grace. Like, both of us going right into something that we could focus our energy and attention on as a family, aside from what was and what we had with the baby, then like that was the best thing that we did. So I feel like mentally it was good throughout the journey, because you knew going into it, or I did, like the baby wasn't mine, the baby wasn't coming home with us. We, you know, told the kids the baby was for someone else. We knew it wasn't ours, and so handing the baby over at the end is easy because it's not our baby. You know, we just held baby for 9 months. And so mentally, I feel like the journey was great. Postpartum was great. And ever since that, I feel like we've been good. Our life hasn't stopped. We've adventured. We've, you know, bought land and got an apartment and settled down and are focusing on the kids, that I don't think about it too much. And I'll touch on it a little bit when we talk about the emotional side of surrogacy, but without having the connection with the baby, like we're not in touch with parents or the baby, there are days where it's hard, but also it's okay. Like we totally understand that their desire to stay private and to, you know, not have a relationship with us, that there are days that it's hard, but at the end of the day, like I'm very happy and pleased with the fact that we brought their baby into this world, and I'm very content with that.
It was probably about 3 solid months after where we just didn't really think about surrogacy or talk about surrogacy or talk about another journey or anything. And it was just like travel time, hangout time.
Yeah,
like
you don't
time
think
as
about
a family.
it. So every now and then, like I'll be like, babe, we had a baby for someone. Like, you know, we'll be like, isn't that crazy?
After that, I mean, it may have been 3, it may have been 6 months, I don't know. But after that, we started to talk about another journey. Like, do we want to pray about it? And then once we decided to, it was just like our mind was focused on that, and like what steps do we need to take? Who are we going to match with?
Yeah, that we don't think
like
about
everything.
Our past journey. Like, it's still something we talk about because it's something we did, it's something we were part of. Such a cool decision and like thing to do, but we have new things ahead, and you know, this next journey, and
it's kind of
family, our life.
It's kind of crazy because like when you're in the middle of a journey, that's what you think about. It's like a good chunk of your life.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, this is my world right now. Yeah. And then when it's done, it's done. You know how when you work at a job, or maybe you are attending high school or college, and
that's
everything, that's all you know, that's your whole world. I feel like that's kind of how it was with surrogacy.
Yeah, I mean, especially with like sharing it with you guys, like doing content and stuff, that's, you know, what we share, like 75% of it along with our life. We shared it heavily, and then once it was done, we were like, okay, we're done. On an emotional side of surrogacy, how was it throughout the journey? Similar to mentally, like I feel like we did a lot of preparation. Emotionally, I would say that we were invested and very connected to this baby, because just with praying for the baby, praying for the family, you know, having so much joy and hope and faith that everything would work out, that emotionally, like, we were there. Never maternally, because that wasn't my role, but emotionally I was. And again, I knew that the baby wasn't mine, but there's still like major decisions that I think the 2 to 3 emotional times that I remember in the journey was the 20-week mark. I knew at that point, just based off of how things were with like our relationship with the intended parents and whatnot, that we wouldn't have a close relationship. And it took me a little bit to kind of walk through that on my own and just mentally prepare for it. Each journey ends up however they end up. Some have a very close relationship and they talk for years to come. Some barely even meet but for just the delivery, and then some have like a on-off relationship throughout it. Sometimes you see them, you know, you may see them after, maybe not, you're not that close. Like, there's a wide range, and I don't think there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. Some desire close relationships, some don't. We did desire. That's not to say that, you know, the other couple has to reciprocate, that's a good word. Reciprocate that. And so at that 20-week, I kind of knew, and that's where I started to prepare myself just emotionally, that we wouldn't. And, you know, at that point, there's nothing I could do, that you just kind of have to be okay with that. And so I prayerfully went into it and prepared for it. The other emotional part was, it was probably just pregnancy emotions. It was like 36 weeks when we're preparing for delivery. There were decisions of like how labor would happen, and where I was so nervous that like my decisions in labor would get pushed aside, or my desires in labor would get pushed aside, and that the doctor wouldn't listen to me first and instead listen to the parents. But I had a talk with my doctor, and she's like, hey, you're my patient, you know, yes, we'll take into consideration what parents want, what you want, what you feel is best, what the doctor, what she feels is best. And I think that was just more like my hormones getting to me. Do you remember that point where I was just like, I want everything to go well?
And she explained to us that it was kind of the opposite. You know, like, this comes down to what you want, what you desire, because you're carrying the baby. And not that we had a lot of differences on like how things would go, but for some reason I think it was just a lot of hormones that preparing to deliver this baby. And you're just going, okay, one, it wasn't just us as part of the journey. Like, normally it was just me and you. We would make all the choices. And then all of a sudden, you know, we've got another couple that are in the room with us, and this was the first time that we were going to experience that. And so it was like, we don't want anything in the moment to be like back and forth. Like, no, I don't want to do this. They want me to, or they want me to do this. I don't want to do it.
It was a lot for my brain to like comprehend.
Trying to wrap your mind around it. But honestly, at the end of the day, nothing like that happened.
No, everything was great.
Was flawless in delivery.
And speaking of delivery, like, that was an emotional time, but honestly, like, it couldn't have gone better. So amazing delivery was. I wish I would have taken heed to my body telling me, hey, it's about to be time, because I progressed so quickly, and I knew the signs of those little grunties, and like, I knew I was progressing, but my doctor wasn't in there, and I should have said, hey, come in here and check me. But it happened so quickly, but everything went so well. The intended mother rubbed my back, Dan held my hand, counted me down, like, baby was healthy, dad cut the cord, like, they're both crying, thankful, gave us hugs, and seeing them hold their baby was like amazing. Like, I think the thing that I'll always remember is me turning to you and seeing you like behind the nurse and being like, we did it. Like, that to me was so, I don't know. And everyone's like, why did you say we did it? Because I could not have done it without him. Like, you giving me my shots and heck, helping me in labor, like, we did this, and you allowed me to become a surrogate and like support me in that, and we did it.
Yeah, I'm glad everything went well. I feel like after that, basically this last year has been pretty solid emotionally. Until you started taking hormones for this next journey, and now you're more emotional than you've ever been.
Be nice.
So.
No, and I mean, the only other emotional time that I had after delivery was making sure that the kids, I was really nervous for how Ember would transition, but they did great. They were able to meet the baby. I think I was nervous that she was gonna ask about the baby like every day, but it was like a few days after they saw him, and then like a week later, and then that was it. And so from that point on, I was like, oh, we're good, we're in the clear, and like, it was great. I feel like I'm still doing well. We knew, like I said, 20 weeks throughout the journey that we wouldn't have that relationship, and we were already like okay with that, and mentally, you know, and emotionally prepared for, you know, not having that relationship. And you know, it is what it is, and I feel like we've done great. I can't believe it's been a year.
It doesn't seem like a year.
Yeah, and now we're gonna do it again. Well, before we hop off, and at the end of this, I'll share maybe some clips of like highlights of our last journey. And if you are coming to our page for the first time and you haven't seen those, all on YouTube and Facebook, I have episodes throughout our journey documenting it, and then heavily like our birth story, and we would talk about it and then walk you through it, and so you can go watch it there. Has the year flown by? I say, Dan says yes, I say yes and no. I mean, I feel like it's been 3 years, I don't know. Did I get to hold baby? Yes. You didn't though, right?
Nope.
Right before we were discharged, we went into their room, held baby, we all got a picture together, and yeah, I'll cherish that forever. And I remember how teeny he was. He was only 5'14", and my kids were 7'13" and 7'12", so he was a little peanut. And last question I think that most of you want to know is, have we seen Surro Babe? We have not, and we're, you know, if we think about baby, we pray for them, pray for their family. From what we've seen a few just from different pictures, but they all seem happy, big happy family, and we're so happy for them.
I think, didn't you say there was one more question?
Last one?
Did we blow all of the money already, and is that why we're jumping into another one?
I didn't know if you'd want to address that. We have one.
I want to. I think it's hilarious. I think that when people focus so much on money with everything, I'm just like, if that's your insecurity popping out, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like that, I mean, there's certain times where people will be like, oh dude, I bet that pays well. Oh, you're only doing it for the money. Oh, what'd you buy with it? Oh, this and that. And like, that hasn't been our motivation for a single journey that we've done.
Yeah, I addressed it in our Q&A of like, how much do you get paid, how much does surrogacy pay? It's like a year salary. So, and I spent a year on that journey. So it makes sense. It's very valid for like the compensation to be about that.
5 years ago when you brought this up to me, I don't think at any point throughout trying to match the first time, matching the second time, doing contracts, doing shots, matching and doing a full journey, and then now matching again and being partway through the journey. At no point has that been even top 3 on the list of priorities with the journey.
And we'll share more later on the compensation side, because I feel like it's not talked about, and I feel like it should, but more on like our reasoning, why, where our heart's at with it, and I feel like we can address it.
This is what I'm going to say.
Talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. This is what I'm going to say. The conversation with the intended parents, with the attorney, with all of the other people involved. And we decided each time that no matter what the number was that came back, we would say, okay. And that could have been like way below the standard, way above the standard. We just said, it's up to them. We're going to let them do it. Yeah. We're going to let them decide, and we're just going to say yes and sign off every single time. And that's what we've done.
Anyways, we are 1 year postpartum, and I can't believe it. Follow along on our content, because all week, well actually you've probably already seen that, but all week we are sharing recaps of just the last few days of delivery, how delivery went, some of our favorite moments, and follow along because we are starting journey number 2. Anyways, if you guys don't already, you can follow us on all platforms at We Are Dan and Sam, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this video to stay updated on everything we're doing, and it really helps us out, you know, pay for the things we need. Just kidding.
Them subscribing pays for the things we need.
Them viewing, yeah. I gotta give my haters something to talk about.